Hey everybody, Kaoiji here. So recently we got access to the New Genesis closed beta test, and now that it's over, I have a lot of thoughts that I really want to get out there. I may not be able to get them very coherently this video, but I want to at least set the groundwork so that way during my next couple of videos, when I talk about New Genesis, I want to be able to talk about the mechanics that we went over without putting any, personal opinions in the way. I want to be able to get that out in this video, so this way everyone knows my thoughts on New Genesis. Now, I want to say this first and foremost is that for me personally, I feel like Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis is in fact a improvement on an already existing open world model. What I mean is you've seen a lot of games like Genshin Impact and Breath of the Wild, which is a single player game, and then Genshin Impact being a multiplayer cooperative game, but also not. This game definitely improves on that by making it feel more like an MMO than the original base PSO2 model. This game took things that I otherwise wouldn't have enjoyed and made them more interesting, mainly because not only do I have more of an attachment to my character, because obviously this is a character that I've been with now for a year in the global version, but it made it feel like I'm not spending all of my time just grinding some of these resources. It feels like I get a little bit at a time, I can come back to it 3 hours later, there it's back up again, as opposed to a lot of the games that we wind up playing in a more recent fashion. It feels like if you wind up missing out on farming for those resources that day, then you're kind of screwed for the next day. And I'm looking at, games like Genshin when I say that, because it's kind of one of those things where it's like, if I miss out on farming the resources for that day or the 48-hour period, depending on which resource you're farming, then I'm kind of asked out. But if I don't do that in PSO2 New Genesis, at least right now of what we know in the beta, I don't feel like, oh man, I missed the 3 hour period. I go get it, I come back, and then I'll just get it when I'm able to do it the next time. Like, I don't feel as if I'm completely trapped in a cycle where I have to mark off a checklist of things that I have to do every day. When I was playing the PSO2 New Genesis beta, sure, it was a slog to level past level 10, but it didn't feel as if like anything that I was doing was incredibly wrong. What I mean is I felt like even if I wanted to go help out one of my friends or anything like that, I was still getting a reasonable amount of experience, at least here in the early game, to where I felt like I was still moving forward. Even in some of the areas that we went back to, we were able to get some of the 3-star weapons, which, as far as we are aware, 3-star weapons were the highest rarity weapons in the beta. And I always felt like I had something new and I was able to progress going forward, no matter what I did. Now, at some point, I did mention that the combat feels a little bit slower than base PSO2. And honestly, I think this is a good thing. It feels a little bit more intense this way. And whereas PSO2 is in fact a power fantasy, it's something to where the combat is incredibly fast. Boss fights can last anywhere between 5 to 6 minutes, sometimes even up to 13, depending on the urgent quest. Or if you're soloing, it can last a little bit longer. But in New Genesis, even though some fights definitely took a little bit longer than that, like the urgent quest that was available in the beta was 8 players, for a full group of 8, it took 10 minutes. But if you went in with 3 players like we did on multiple occasions, we took like 18. But either way, it didn't feel as if none of that, like, it all just felt like it was a rewarding experience, if that makes sense. It felt like every time that I stepped into an enemy encounter, I was enjoying myself. I was watching myself as I was learning the mechanics, trying to make sure that I was doing things. I put more of an effort into looking into my character and the mechanics of the combat, more so than I did in PSO2 Original. And that's not to say that PSO2 Original is bad. In fact, I still love PSO2 Original. I just think that New Genesis is in fact so much more of an improvement for me personally, that I find PSO2 Original a little bit harder to go back to, only because I've seen what New Genesis actually is. Now, I want to say this first and foremost because I know some people may not actually enjoy the MMO nature or even like what PSO2 New Genesis is. It is definitely not a game for everyone. However, if you were playing PSO2 with the intention of looking good, fashion, screenshots, whatever it is, you found the place for that. If you were playing PSO2 for the intention of the social experience, it feels like the social experience is only improved on in New Genesis. If you were playing PSO2 for the MMO factor and you didn't find it, I feel like you would find it in New Genesis. But if you're playing PSO2 for the action, fast-paced combat power fantasy that it is, then at least here at the beginning, based on what we've seen in the beta, you may not find that right away. Now, the other thing that came up in conversation, and I honestly have to agree with this, is playing PSO2 now, after having played the New Genesis Closed Beta Test 2 with a fresh character. I honestly think that playing PSO2 and having the ability to transfer your gear and allowing for that to be at least starter gear in PSO2 New Genesis is in fact a great thing. It's not going to stop the newer player from progressing, but it is going to allow veteran players to be able to amass resources that they would otherwise be spending later on in the game. And what I mean by that is that currently right now, while we were playing the beta, we found ourselves making a lot of mistakes and spending our resources way more frugally than we would have otherwise. And those resources were, while easy to come by, definitely the meseta cost is where things start to get a little bit dicey. So for the returning player, and what I mean by returning is the person who's going to be playing PSO2 and then transferring over to New Genesis, having that gear already set in mind because you transferred it from PSO2 to New Genesis, you are going to have an advantage, at least in the early game. I'm going to be honest that based on what we know so far, that advantage may not last going forward, but it definitely is going to help that much more. Now, if you were the type of player who was waiting to play New Genesis because you wanted to start with a fresh start, don't get me wrong, that is entirely doable. And in fact, you're still going to have a great time doing it. You might even have a better time doing it, but there will be some things that you're going to have to keep in mind when it comes to your resource management. I guess the other thing that I really have to talk about here, if anything at all, because I really feel like I've just gone on a tangent this entire video, I guess, is that this is the closed beta test. And a lot of the information that we're going to be putting out over the next couple of days is 100% subject to change. So a lot of my actual concerns, I feel like once the game goes into official launch, a lot of the things that I was worried about right while I was playing the beta, they'll be fixed because they're small. They're not even like major, oh my God, game breaking things. I feel like a lot of the things that I was worried about were like, I just needed an additional wall jump, or I needed, you know, some extra guidance on some certain things. And that might even change when I play the global beta. But some of the smaller, you know, combat portions, they'll get fixed in the future as the game goes live and has a couple of updates behind it. I mean, I really feel like long term, this game has an incredible future ahead of it. PSO2 New Genesis is 100% the future of the game. There is no doubt in my mind that most players who are going to touch PSO2 New Genesis are going to wind up saying, oh, I don't like this. I think most people, whether or not they like it or not, are going to be able to appreciate that it is a good game and see the love and dedication that they have in this game going forward. So with all of that, and I don't even know if any of my thoughts were truly coherent this video, and I'm not even going to go back to edit it, to be honest with you. Bottom line, I'm going to say that I 100% believe that the closed beta test 2 for New Genesis is in fact an incredible foundation of what we could be seeing in the full release of the game. It's going to be hard going back into base PSO2, to be quite honest with you, but it only makes me more excited to play the Phantasy Star Online series as a result. Everything that I've seen so far is an incredible experience, and I can't wait to see what's in store. I'm going to be putting out more concise and clear videos throughout the week with more focused topics in mind, but I really just wanted to get my thoughts out there because a lot of you guys also asked me to just make a video with my unbiased opinion and thoughts. And like I said during this video, I think this is incredible. I almost didn't even want to go back to playing PSO2 base, but this is great. This is the future of PSO2, and it's plain to see. There are going to be a lot of things that are excited. There's a lot of potential to be had, and the unknown, I've not actually been this excited for a game. Like, I've played a lot of games throughout the 28 years of my existence, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I've been excited about a lot of them, but never, and I fucking mean it, never have I actually been excited about PSO2 the way that I am right now. So I hope that throughout the week, as we put out all of these videos, you feel the same way. I have like 28 hours of footage that I actually need to go ahead and edit right now. So this is why this video was so important to me, because I want to be able to just edit all those and, you know, get everything out of the way with my thoughts and opinions. So anyway, I'll see you guys throughout the week, both in live stream and in my YouTube videos. For those of you guys who stopped by from the YouTube channel, who, you know, came to watch us play the beta, well, thank you for all the kind words. And for everybody who's been waiting for this video or any of the videos to come out from the new Genesis beta, thank you so very much for waiting. And thank you so very much for being awesome. Man, capital M-A-N, man, this was a damn good game. A damn good game, man. All right, stay awesome, stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. I'm out.